All right, good evening, everyone. This is the Hanson Finance Committee meeting of Friday, April 16th. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining me this Friday night. I'll entertain a motion to open.
Motion.
So moved.
Moved by Mrs. Werdeman, second by Mr. Dugan. All those in favor, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Dugan?
Aye.
Mr. McCormick?
Aye.
Mr. Powers?
Aye.
Mrs. Werdeman?
Aye.
Mr. Sullivan, aye. We are open for business. Thank you all very much. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Relatively light agenda. There was a slight shift in some of the numbers. Nothing major, but I wanted to make sure we crossed our T's and dotted our I's on this one. So I'll go back and touch on a couple points after that, but I wanted to bring up a few of your questions you had asked from the previous meeting. The first one specifically was in regard to the changing in the format for the conceptual drawing of downtown. You had requested to know the amount. So there was $15,000 allocated for that previously. It has not been expended. This is another $12,750. So that for a total of $27,750 to be allocated for this conceptual plan of Main Street for a revitalization project. I couldn't get any more information on it. I don't know whether the price went up or what, but I know that they've asked that this money all be reallocated for that purpose. So that is I'll say the answer to that question.
So it's not additional money, it's just reallocation of that amount of money from somewhere else, right?
That's correct, sir. It is the reallocation of $12,750 from that sidewalk appropriation study to the Main Street conceptual drawing as stated in the article. The other item we had wanted to discuss was the other issue was the school committee met the following night to certify their budget. So they certified a number that was different than what was in the our original budget line item. They certified their operational assessment at $12,646,117.72. So that was a change which will be reflected, and I wanted to go over that. So, and then the final item that was a change was on the special town meeting. If you look at Article 2, Number 2, the highway snow and ice deficit was increased from the $4,600 we voted on to $6,200. So again, none of these were really, I'll say, major changes in any sort of funding, but I wanted to make sure that we went and procedurally made sure that we voted the actual number. So that's the reason for being here, as well as if there was anything else we wanted to discuss. So we'll go back and cover, my thought was we'll go back and revote the special Article 2, and then we'll go back through our general fund budget recommendations and, make an amendment to recommend the amount that the school committee certified in their budget on Wednesday night. So the only other final piece I had was that I sent you all the email from Superintendent Hickey at South Shore Vote Tech. Did anyone have any questions about that?
Nope.
It solidified, I don't know if it's solidified, but if everyone had a chance to read it, it did, it clarified some of the points, but really, I don't know how much it'll change the the minds are the opinions of anyone on this call. So it is what it is. The only clarification I wanted to point out that is if one town votes no, they are not allowed to borrow, which was against what we had originally thought that it would sort of be a majority. But if any one town votes no, they're not allowed to borrow the amount. So that's just a change in where we were thinking.
That makes sense. You need all 8 towns.
It does. It makes it a lot tougher, I think, for them.
Yeah,
A lot
for them.
tougher.
Yeah.
Tougher for them to get it done, but it does make sense that you couldn't force I think our thinking was trending that way because in any other respect, it doesn't matter. As long as the majority of the towns are on board, it makes sense. But this is the one caveat that I guess it does make sense that if one member town isn't on board with the plan, then it goes to the side. And has to be reappropriated.
Yeah.
So were there any questions on any of those items that I had gone back and sought out answers on? Mike, you good with all those? We can't hear you, Mike. I don't know why. We don't have you on sound here.
No, that's the mute button again.
Gotcha.
No, the only thing that I would just add in regards to the South Shore Voc Tech data that I pulled out of it was part of our assessment includes a factor for capital and or debt, and I didn't understand until going through all that information that if they have a particular capital project they are going to do that year, and whatever the cost is, here's that a part of the town's cost is factored into our assessment. And what is being discussed is that debt service on future capital projects will be offset by that line item. Point being is our assessment for this year includes a factor of $122,000 for capital projects for the fiscal 22 year. I was misled to think that was allowing for a buildup of a capital fund as going forward, but I took it as you have a specific project, here's the cost, and we're going to do it in 1 year. And given the size and the scope of the projects they want to do over the next 6 years, this is why they were going with the financing route. But at the end of the day, a couple of things that jumped out at me in looking over that data is even though it's staggered, and even though that from a principal reduction, we're not going to probably see an impact in that until probably fiscal 25 or 24 or 25. Let's keep in mind that those are the structure of that is done as 2-year draw periods, and then put it into a 20-year bond, another draw period, 20-year bond. So end of the day, we're going to be on the hook for our share of this debt service through fiscal 44. I would like to think we could get out of our own way and get ourselves a balanced budget to be able to handle something like that. But it isn't just for 3 years, 5 years. It's not short term. We're going to be signing up for a chunk of debt service for a lengthy period of time. So, from where I sit, I appreciated all the information that was provided, but it doesn't change my opinion of my recommendation to not move forward with the article. And again, I appreciated all the additional information, but if we are trying to backfill $1.8 million because the override doesn't pass, by the time we get to a stage where we get back to where we are, we're not going to fill that over a year, 2 years, whatever the case may be. And as I said in our last meeting, I think the challenges of trying to replace that plus 100 and something thousand in debt service, it becomes a timing issue. I fully support it, the concept. I fully support the school, but The additional information I found very useful, but it still, in my mind, doesn't change my original recommendation.
Thank you. Anyone else have any further discussion on the South Shore VOTEC borrowing? Yeah, Mike, I agree with your sentiment, Mike. I think, we're in a difficult position right now to be able to say that we can enter into a long term. I guess we could probably take another look at this at the October special, depending on the outcome of the override and where we are. But no, well said. Thank you for your
Yeah.
insight.
Agreed.
Did anyone else have any other general items that they'd like to discuss before we get back into just closing the loop on a couple of these items? All right, hearing none, then I will entertain a motion to reopen the special town meeting, Article 2.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dugan,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Powers. All those in favor, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Dugan,
Aye.
Mr. McCormick,
Aye.
Mr. Powers,
Aye.
Mrs. Werdeman,
Aye.
Mr. Sullivan, aye. Article 2 of the special town meeting is reopened. Again, a very small change, and I appreciate everyone bearing with me, but I didn't want to go into it without having the accurate numbers in there. So the change is a small change. It's in number 2, highway, snow and ice, free cash to $6,200. Any questions regarding Article 2?
None.
Then I will entertain a motion for Article 2.
Motion to be made to recommend Article 2 as restated with the updated amounts relative to snow and ice.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to recommend Article 2 with the updated amounts as printed in the warrant. All those in favor signify by saying aye. We'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Dugan,
Aye.
Mr. McCormick,
Aye.
Mr. Powers,
Aye.
Mrs. Werdeman,
Aye.
Mr. Sullivan, aye. The article is recommended 5-0. All right, that closes the loop on the special. So that leaves us again back in the same spot where we were. Articles 1 through 13 were recommended by the Finance Committee. Any further discussion on the special town meeting?
Nope.
Hearing none. We will take a look at the annual town meeting. And right now on the annual town meeting, we have recommended Articles 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry, hold on, that's not. We have recommended Articles 1 through 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 17, 18, and 19, and not recommended 9, 14, and 16. So what we're looking at now is a change in the amount of Articles 4 and consequently Article 5, because 4 is the general budget, 5 is if the override is passed. And we are looking at a shift in the amount. The original amount printed when we made our recommendations, our recommendation was to, in line with the town administrator's recommendations. The amount at the time was $12,651,300. The updated the updated assessment is 12,646,1118. So I will entertain a motion to reopen Article 4 of the annual town meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. The roll call vote, Mr. Dugan,
Aye.
Mr. McCormick,
Aye.
Mrs. Werdeman,
aye.
Mr. Powers.
Aye.
Mr. Sullivan, aye. Article 4 is reopened. So that was the major change I had. Did anyone have any other discussion other than what we'll say is line item 54 in your general fund line item number?
So they upped it.
My only,
Oh, go ahead, Mike.
go ahead, Ken.
I was just gonna say so it's not a much that they upped it, but they upped it, and it is so aggravating to even do this. It just annoys the ever living crap out of me. They couldn't even keep it where it was. We had to up it.
Well, it went down.
You said it was 640 something, right?
So the original request from the department, from the schools, was $12,951,003. So 12.95. It's now 12.65.
Oh, so that's just the 300,000 that they took out.
Correct.
Yeah, well, okay. I misunderstood. I thought they upped it. But
No.
that 300,000 was coming out anyways.
Well, yeah, we believed it was.
All right. I apologize. I'm in a car, so I misunderstood. I thought they
Not a
upped it.
problem.
I
They
was about ready
hadn't
to-
done the final certification, and that's the
Got
final
it.
certification. But the
I got
other
it.
night when we had voted a number, we voted the town administrator's number, which was off slightly. So it
Yep.
was off by about $5,000.
Yep,
if
that's
that-
fine. I still say it's 300,000 is inadequate, but that's I've already discussed that last week, so I'm good.
Well, Ken, to your overall underlying point, I guess, and not that this has an impact today, but getting some correspondence from the superintendent, apparently Whitman is being invited to MSBA for the Whitman Middle School. So again, as the town looks to think about that potential debt service in their budget, this will come back around again, maybe even not next year, but that'll be a point of discussion going forward, I'm sure.
Definitely.
My only other question, Kevin,
Mhm.
is, so we had an overall number in voting the proposed finance committee recommendation budget of like 29,245,000 and change, or I'm trying to get the number, just if you happen to have that there as to what the
Yeah.
adjusted
So our
Adjust-
previous number, well, the current number we have unless we revote it, was in line with the town administrator's recommendations, which is $29,513,245 for total all budgets bottom line. With these updated numbers, ours will be about 49. I think it's 4,000. It's $4,955 less. So none of the other numbers changed. So the only item I think we need to update is line item 54 of the general fund. So I will entertain a motion to.
Okay, so just before, just for clarity's sake, is this lowering one number and offsetting it by another number? So
No,
from our presentation, it's still 29, 513, 245, or are we going to be 29, 508 and change?
Yeah, ours is
I
29.
guess I'm trying to get to what that,
Ours is 20, if
29.
we go with the adjustment to the assessment, it will be 29, 508, 290.
okay,
So this is all because the school committee met after the selectmen, and they sent out I received the certified notification on Thursday or Friday.
mhm. So based on that, then I would make a motion to recommend Article 4 with a total budget for the town of Hanson for fiscal 22 of $29,508,290. Working off the adjusted town administrator's initial recommendation.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to adjust the finance committee recommendations to a total of $29,508,290,000 in accordance with the town administrator's recommendations and the adjustment of the Whitman-Hanson Regional Operating Assessment. We'll do a roll call vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Mr. Dugan,
Aye.
Mr. McCormick,
Aye.
Mr. Powers,
Aye.
Mrs. Werdeman,
Aye.
Mr. Sullivan, aye. Article 4 of the annual town meeting is recommended 5-0. Thank you all. All right, I did not receive the capital improvement matrix. I did not receive any other documentation beyond what I sent all of you last, well, I guess it was 2 days ago. Any further discussion or any other items we'd like to reopen? All right.
I'm good.
Mr.
Do we have any
McCormick,
other meetings, Kevin?
What's that?
Are you gonna have any other meetings, or are we just gonna try to, unless something comes up, we just taking it to the town meeting?
Well, so I have, that brings us to our next, if this has to be submitted to Greer on Tuesday morning. So we couldn't meet Monday. That's why we met tonight to sort of close it off. So with regard to the budget, if there's nothing else with regard to the budget, we'll close it out now. And I will send it off to Greer on Tuesday morning and just double check everything. Now, I have posted for Tuesday night because the selectmen would like as many of us to participate in the town forum, the override forum on Tuesday night. I know people are on vacation, obviously you all are excused. It's going to be, they want as many people live. So I plan on attending on Tuesday night. I'll be arriving at 5:30. The forum kicks off at 6 o'clock. So I know Michelle and Pat, you guys are going to be out of state, enjoying a little time off. So please enjoy. We'll fill you in with the battle, and it's going to be televised on Facebook and all the different media outlet sources. So if you want, I'm sure you can follow along. I'm sure CNN might even have coverage on it. It's such a hot issue. But Ken, I did post so that if you, Mike, and I couldn't remember if Amy was in or out of town, but we're posted just to cover ourselves. So
Yeah.
I'll reach out to you guys on Monday to gauge your interest in attending. I'll be there. Town accountant Todd Hassett will be there. The selectmen will be there. I believe the town administrator will be there, but you don't have to commit to it now. You can let me know next week.
Wait, and I'm sorry, Kevin, is it live or online?
So it's
Streaming
both.
live.
It's
Streaming
live.
Okay, because you could send it to me. I don't have my laptop anyway, so I have no problem joining.
Well, you're not going to be able to, I guess, engage from a panelist standpoint, being remote. So
Got it.
like the selectmen and all of us will be there live. And I believe the town, there's a link right now on the website that you can submit questions. People can submit questions if they're not going to be there or do not want to attend in person.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, there won't be I do not believe it's a live question and answer. It's a live in-person question and answer, but not
Okay.
a live through Zoom or Facebook, anything like that. So
Got it.
you will have to be there to answer or ask a question in real time. But you do have the opportunity now. The citizens of Hanson have the opportunity to submit questions, and they will be compiled and condensed and brought to the forum on Tuesday.
Got it.
Did that answer your question, Ken?
Yep, that's good.
So that will take us at that point where, we're 2 weeks out from, less than 2 weeks out from town meeting, because town meeting is Monday the 3rd. So we can post for the week after. I don't know if we'll have anything else, or if anything changes, I'll definitely reach out and we can go from there.
Perfect. Sounds good.
Yeah, I would say let's post for that day and cancel rather than scramble in case something last second does come up.
For Tuesday?
For whatever time period, like in between, because I agree that we've got the panel next week, but between the panel and town meeting, do we have we don't have any wiggle room there, right?
But there's a week in between. I just don't know. I don't believe anything will change in that week from the forum to the town meeting.
Right. So if you don't get the capital matrix, that can't be entered because we're past Monday.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I'm aware, everything has to be the printers on Tuesday. So that would mean to me that the Capital Improvement Committee must be submitting it directly to her on Tuesday morning, because the selectmen on there, I sent you all the votes, the recommendations, and they too didn't vote the Capital Improvement Matrix. So they didn't vote it. We voted not to recommend it, but it's sort of our line every year. So they haven't seen the full matrix yet either.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. So I kind of agree with Mike. Just put one in for that week in the middle, and then if we don't do anything, we're good. We can just cancel it, but we have it in case we gotta fall in.
Yeah, I will. That's not a big deal. That you just have to post 48 hours. The thing that was tripping us up this weekend was our recommendations have to be in on Tuesday. So I can post next week for the following week. It's not a big deal.
Perfect.
All right, that brings us to the end of all the items I had on my agenda. Are there any last minute saves or by the ways?
No. Nice work, team. I think we did it. Not probably the way we wanted to, but we did it.
Well, Ken, it goes back to a point I think you made earlier. There's something to be said for doing this in person, sitting down at the table in town hall, hashing it out together as a team. And, it was a little bit, again, another different year for us, but we got through it, and, we'll see. We might not be done yet.
No, that's true.
So that being said, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Dugan, seconded by Mrs. Werdeman. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Mr. Dugan?
Aye.
Mr. McCormick?
Aye.
Mr. Powers?
Aye.
Mrs. Werdeman?
Aye.
Mr. Sullivan? Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thanks.
Drive safely.
Oh, thanks.